That brand new truck on the dealership lot is the most expensive mistake you will ever make. Not because of the $60,000 price tag, not because of the 7-year loan, because the truck itself is engineered to rob you. The engine is sealed under plastic you are not allowed to remove. The software tracks every mile and reports it to your insurance company. The parts are digitally locked, so only the dealer can install them. It is not a vehicle. It is a financial trap with 4 wheels. Smart drivers figured this out years ago. They buy something completely different. Walk into any dealership and pop the hood of a 2026 full-size pickup. You will not see an engine. You will see a wall of plastic covers held down with tamper-resistant fasteners. Underneath that plastic is a turbocharged 4-cylinder or a small displacement 6-cylinder engine that is working 3 times harder than it was ever designed to work. Automakers abandoned the big, naturally aspirated V8 engines that built this country. They replaced them with tiny, highly stressed motors crammed into oversized trucks to hit government fuel economy numbers. These engines run at extreme internal pressures. The turbochargers are spinning at over 100,000 revolutions per minute, force-feeding air into cylinders that are already running at their thermal limit. Head gaskets blow. Turbo seals leak oil. Timing chain tensioners fail at 60,000 miles. These are not trucks built to last 300,000 miles. These are disposable machines with a 100,000-mile expiration date. But the engine is not even the worst part. Look at the center of the dashboard. The physical gauges are gone. The heavy plastic knobs for the air conditioning are gone. The chunky dial that controlled your 4-wheel drive is gone. Everything has been replaced by a single, massive touchscreen glued to the dash. Automakers tell you this is an upgrade. That is a lie. One cheap glass panel is dramatically less expensive to manufacture than 30 individual copper-wired analog switches. This is corporate cost-cutting dressed up as innovation. In a truck built 20 years ago, if the air conditioning knob broke, you went to a junkyard, grabbed a $5 plastic dial, popped it on, and cold air blew again. In a 2026 truck, your climate control, your trailer brake controller, your 4-wheel drive selector, and your backup camera are all baked into the software of that touchscreen. When the screen delaminates from years of sun exposure, or the cheap internal processor fries from a voltage spike, you lose everything at once. The dealership cannot repair the screen. They replace the entire infotainment module. The bill is $3,000 to $4,000. Your truck has been mechanically totaled by a screen failure. And the repair nightmares go far beyond the dashboard. Modern truck engine bays are packed so tightly that basic maintenance has become geometrically impossible. On a 1998 Silverado, changing a headlight bulb took 30 seconds and a screwdriver. On a modern truck, you have to disassemble the entire front grille assembly or remove the plastic wheel well liner just to reach the bulb housing. On modern Ford Super Duty trucks, the engine is crammed so deep into the bay that major repairs require the mechanic to lift the entire cab off the frame. What used to be a Saturday afternoon job in the driveway is now a $4,000 labor bill at the dealer. They designed it this way on purpose. They want you to look at that cramped, plastic-covered engine bay, feel completely overwhelmed, and hand over your credit card. Even changing the battery has become a dealer event. On many modern trucks, including Ford and GM models, the vehicle has a battery management system. If you buy a battery at an auto parts store and install it yourself, the truck will not recognize it. The alternator treats the new battery like the old dying one. It overcharges it and destroys your brand new $200 battery within a month. To fix this, you have to take the truck to the dealership and pay them to register the battery to the vehicle computer. They have turned the simplest maintenance task in automotive history into a ransom payment. You might think at least the trucks are built tougher underneath to justify the price. Think again. Modern automatic transmissions have gone from the proven 4-speed and 6-speed designs to complicated 10-speed units packed with dozens of additional clutch packs and solenoids. These transmissions are lighter, yes. They help the truck score better fuel economy on the government test cycle, but they are exponentially more complex and dramatically more expensive to rebuild. A 10-speed transmission failure on a modern half-ton truck is an $8,000 to $10,000 repair. The older 4-speed automatic that it replaced could be rebuilt by any independent shop in the country for under $2,000. The engineering has not gotten better. It has gotten more fragile and more expensive, on purpose. These trucks are engineered to be disposable at 100,000 miles, but the mechanical failures are just the surface. The real threat is running silently in the background. Every modern truck rolling off the assembly line today is equipped with a built-in telematics module and a constant cellular data connection. Your truck is a 5,000-pound rolling data harvester. These systems are actively monitoring how hard you brake, how fast you accelerate, what time you drive, and exactly where you go every single day. And the terrifying truth recently became public. Major automakers have been quietly packaging this driving data and selling it directly to data brokers like LexisNexis, who then sell it straight to your insurance company. Truck drivers across America are watching their insurance premiums skyrocket overnight, not because they caused an accident, because their own truck reported them for accelerating too hard merging onto the highway. You are paying $60,000 for the privilege of being surveilled and financially punished by the machine parked in your own driveway. But the surveillance is just one layer of the extortion. Manufacturers have realized they do not make enough money selling you the truck once. They want to sell it to you every single month. Toyota tried to charge a monthly subscription for the remote start function on the key fob you already bought. BMW tried to charge $18 a month to use the heated seats that were already physically installed in the vehicle. Think about the absolute arrogance of that. You purchase the seat, you own the heating element, the wiring is already connected, but they put a digital toll booth between you and your own property. This is not manufacturing. This is theft. And when something breaks, they have made sure you cannot fix it yourself. If a window switch fails on your truck and you go to a junkyard and grab a replacement, the truck will reject it. The manufacturers have embedded a digital serial number inside the part. When you install it, the main computer scans the serial number. If it does not match the factory authorization list, the computer locks the entire system. The part works perfectly. The mechanics are fine, but the software refuses to let it function. To unlock it, you have to tow your truck to the dealership and pay them an hour of labor just to plug in a laptop and tell the truck that the new switch is allowed to exist. They have digitized the wrench and kept the password for themselves. This is not about safety. It is about killing the used parts market and forcing you to buy overpriced components directly from the dealer at full retail. John Deere proved this model works. Farmers were the first victims. They spent $500,000 on a tractor. A $50 sensor failed in the field. The farmer could replace it with a wrench in 10 minutes, but the software would not recognize the new part until a dealer technician drove out to the farm and blessed it with a laptop. Farmers were stranded during harvest, losing thousands of dollars an hour, waiting for corporate permission to use their own equipment. The auto industry watched how profitable that hostage model was. They copied it immediately. You do not own a 2026 truck. You are the primary user of a corporate data collection platform that happens to have a bed and a trailer hitch. They control the software. They control the parts. They control the repair. But smart truck drivers saw this coming years ago. They completely opted out of the modern market. They are using a strategy that mechanics and fleet managers have known about for decades. They buy specific trucks from a specific era that were engineered to be truly owned, truly repaired, and truly indestructible. Here is exactly what they buy. At the top of every smart driver's list is the 1999 to 2006 Chevrolet Silverado or GMC Sierra, equipped with the 5.3-liter or 6.0-liter vortec V8 engine. But you need to know the critical detail. You want the models built before General Motors introduced active fuel management, also called displacement on demand. That system deactivates half the cylinders to save fuel, and it is an engine killer. The oil pressure relief system fails, the lifters collapse, and the engine destroys itself from the inside at around 100,000 miles. The pre-AFM Vortec trucks use a simple, unstressed V8 with a traditional 4-speed automatic transmission, thick cast iron blocks, hydraulic roller lifters, a timing chain that will outlast the frame. These trucks routinely clear 300,000 miles on nothing more than regular oil changes and basic maintenance. Every replacement part is available at every auto parts store in the country for a fraction of what a modern dealer charges. If you need serious heavy-duty capability, the holy grail is the 1999 to 2003 Ford Super Duty with the 7.3-liter powerstroke diesel. This is the last of the simple, mechanically overbuilt, heavy-duty diesels Ford ever produced. It does not use diesel exhaust fluid. It does not have a complex, high-pressure, common rail injection system with electronic injectors that fail if you look at them wrong. The 7.3 uses a HEUI hydraulic injection system that is crude, heavy, and virtually indestructible. There is a reason you still see these trucks pulling trailers on every highway in the country with 300, 400, even 500,000 miles on the original engine. They were built for commercial fleets, and commercial fleets do not tolerate machines that break down. For the ultimate mechanical simplicity, look for a 1994 to 1998 Dodge Ram with the 12-valve Cummins diesel engine. This is the closest thing to an indestructible motor ever bolted into a production truck. The engine is a massive inline 6-cylinder block of cast iron that produces enormous low-end torque. The fuel injection is entirely mechanical, driven by gears off the camshaft. It does not need a computer to run. It does not need electronic sensors to fire the injectors. If every computer module in the truck fried tomorrow, you could rig a manual fuel shutoff with a piece of string, and this engine would keep running until it was completely out of fuel. There are 12-valve Cummins trucks on the road right now with over 700,000 miles on the original engine. Find one with a manual transmission and a clean frame, and you are holding a rapidly appreciating mechanical asset. If you do not need a full-size truck, look for the ultimate loophole vehicle for daily driving: the Ford Panther platform. The Crown Victoria, the Mercury Grand Marquis, the Lincoln Town Car. These were engineered specifically for police departments and taxi fleets. Body-on-frame construction like a heavy-duty truck. A massive 4.6-liter V8 running at incredibly low stress. Because they were fleet vehicles, every single replacement part is cheap and available nationwide. You can find a pristine, garage-kept Grand Marquis from a retiree for $4,000, and it will still be running long after a brand new $80,000 SUV has been scrapped. Here's how you execute the strategy. You do not finance. You save $5,000 to $15,000 in cash. You avoid every shiny dealership with the inflatable tube men and the predatory finance managers. You buy directly from private sellers on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or at estate sales and fleet auctions. You look for the physical indicators of a truck that was built to last forever. A metal key that turns a mechanical ignition cylinder. Chunky plastic knobs for the air conditioning that clunk when you turn them. An analog gauge cluster with physical needles you can read at a glance. A traditional column-mounted gear shifter that pulls a real steel cable connected to the transmission. No touchscreen. No digital rotary dial. No push-button start. Before you hand over the cash, you do 3 things. First, you check the frame. Get underneath the truck and look for structural rust. Surface rust on a northern truck is normal. Holes in the frame rails are a death sentence. Walk away. Second, you run a compression test on the engine. Any independent mechanic can do this for under $100. Even cylinder pressures mean the engine has life left. Third, you drive it hard. Run the truck through every gear. Feel for slipping or harsh shifts in the transmission. Slam the brakes. Listen for grinding. Test the 4-wheel drive. If it shifts clean, pulls straight, and runs cool, you are holding a truck that will outlast anything on a modern dealership lot. Avoid trucks from heavy salt belt states unless they have documented undercoating, or you can verify the frame integrity yourself. Avoid rebuilt or salvage titles. Avoid trucks with swapped or unknown engines. You want the original drivetrain, the original build sheet, and ideally some service records that show the previous owner cared about maintenance. If you are learning something from this, hit subscribe. I cover the engineering history and financial scams hidden inside the American auto industry every single week. When you buy one of these trucks, you are not buying nostalgia. You are buying the last product of an American manufacturing system that no longer exists. Every frame rail was stamped from American steel. Every engine block was poured in an American foundry. Every bolt was turned by an American hand on an American assembly line. That will never happen again. The factories are closed, the tooling has been shipped south, the workforce has been scattered. What remains are the trucks themselves. Sitting in barns, in driveways, in pole buildings across the heartland, waiting for someone who understands what they represent. Stop paying $65,000 for a Mexican-assembled truck with an American flag on the tailgate. Stop financing 84-month loans on a marketing illusion. Find the last real American iron. The trucks that were built by the workers who built this country. Buy them in cash, keep them running, and own something that was made in America when that phrase still meant something.